everybody, this is Editing Sharon. So I just wanted to hop in and let you guys know that this is part 2 to my romance video, which I already uploaded the first part of several months ago. So if you haven't seen that, please go watch the first one first because it will give context to the conversation. And if you've already seen that one, thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up again. And let's jump into the conversation. The next question I have for myself is, what were you scared about? There were a lot of fears, especially in the first year of my relationship. Yeah, I think for me, the biggest fear was just like, what if this is it? Like, what if this is it? You know, what if this is the only person that I'm gonna like kiss for the rest of my life? It's the only person that I'm gonna date for the rest of my life. I am 18 years old, okay? That is a big fucking commitment at 18 to be like, damn, this person is it. Like, this is gonna be like we're gonna get married, we're gonna have a house, we're gonna have kids, we're gonna like do the life thing and then retire together and then whatever. And at 18 years old, that's fucking scary as shit. That's so scary. And it's like weird because then it's also like all of my friends are like on dating apps and like hooking up with people and like doing all this like university stuff, and I'm just like not doing that. But the older I got and the further I got into this relationship, the more I was like, thank fucking God, because I don't want to do that with anybody else. Because like the more I meet more people and experience other people and like whatever, the more I'm just like, I am so happy with what I have. I hate the idea of dating and getting to know somebody again, getting introduced to their family again, figuring out life stuff and like figuring out boundaries and how to best communicate and like different systems to like work together and live together. Like that's so exhausting to me. Like the idea of doing that from scratch, from zero, that's crazy. Like, I don't want to do that, okay? I think every year and, like, every day, our relationship is, like, growing. Our relationship is its own thing. It grows, and it grows, and it grows. And it's, like, this work of art that we've been collaborating on for years. And I love it. Like, I love that, and I love being part of it. And I don't want to do that with anybody else. I think another thing that I was really scared of when I was younger is being too dependent. Everyone has that friend who, like, starts dating somebody, and then you don't talk to them for like 3 years and then they break up and then suddenly they're back in your life. Like, I really didn't want to be that person. I really didn't want to just have him in my life. And I was really worried about like, I don't know who I am without you, you know? Like, who am I without the context of our relationship? And I was so scared of that. Then I was like, I know who I am. Like, it's not that deep. 1, respectfully, not that deep. 2, I have great friends. Another thing that was actually really helpful for this too was my last year of university. He was travel nursing for like 6 months. Like, he was gone. He was not in the picture for like a while. And it was nice. The timing of it was really good for me because like I got to be independent. I really enjoyed that time because like I felt like I could focus 100% of my energy on experiencing and like really like feeling my last semester of university and like spending all the time that I could with my friends. It was great. And it was great that he was also like chill with that too. He's so chill with like giving me space if I need it. The other thing about dependency is that in my last year I also really realized that you can't be independent as a person. It's just like, that's such a ridiculous concept, and I think it's really like poison. And like it's actually like American poison. For context, I'm Canadian. But it's like this North American, the individualism culture is so big. And I'm just like, can you stop? You cannot do everything by yourself, and you shouldn't have to. Like, you shouldn't be living in fucking suburbia raising kids with only 2 people. Why would you do that to yourself? It takes a village, and it takes a village to care for you as an adult as well. Like, I remember when my car broke down, and Nathaniel was gone, okay, my partner was whatever, he was fucking in Saskatchewan doing travel nursing. You know who picked me up? His tenant picked me up. When my car broke down the other time, I called, like, my girlfriends were with me. Okay, mask lesbian on dial. Baby, can you please come over and jumpstart my car? On my way. Okay, let's all go to Costco together afterwards. It's just like things like that. Like, life happens and shit happens, and when it happens, you want to have a community to help you, because doing it by yourself is so sad and so depressing and so hard. And I've definitely talked about this before, but social load sharing is such a real thing and such a real phenomenon. Basically, your brain is less stressed out when you're with people that you care about. And on top of that, your brain is less stressed out when you are just with people that you don't even know. If you are standing at the bottom of a hill, and they've done studies on this, with a big old backpack, and you're by yourself, it's going to seem like 100 times harder. Maybe not 100 times. But you're going to think it's a lot harder than if you are standing next to a person who is going to do the trip with you. Because we are literally wired to be surrounded by people, and being alone is weird for us. We are not meant to be alone biologically, and I believe that with my full chest, okay? Because I feel that. And that's something I've been new. You need your community, and it is not natural to be independent from everybody. You're a human being, Homo sapiens, okay? That is a social animal. That's like okay, imagine a meerkat by itself. That's sad. That's you. You need people around you to watch your back so you can burrow and eat worms and shit. Okay? You can't be being a little meerkat in the savannah all by yourself looking all the time for predators. No one's got your back. You're gonna die. You will die. Okay? That's us. That's humans. We are those meerkats, and we can't be by ourselves. That's my analogy. Anyways, it's normal to be dependent, and don't let anyone make you think that it's not normal. Obviously, there's a difference between codependency and just regular dependency and like having community support, and I'm not the person to talk to you about that right now because I don't want to. Lastly, also, the other thing that I'm scared about, I am queer, I am bi, okay? I identify as bisexual and like genderqueer. So it's weird to be in a long-term relationship with a man and also be very involved in queer spaces because there's a lot of judgment and there's a lot of like stereotypes about like bisexuals bringing their boyfriends to the function and like blah 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 whatever. I have literally had conversations with friends who are my friends and who care about me, and when I tell them, or like with people who I'm like friendly with, I should say, like nice acquaintances who are like queer or like lesbians or gay or whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I've been in a relationship, and they're like, oh my gosh, awesome, and I'm like, oh yeah, like he's blah blah, and they're like, oh. And like I've had somebody literally say to me like, oh, like that's such a disappointment that you're dating a man instead of a girl, like that's so much worse than dating a girl. To which I'm like, girl, no, because being a man does not make you shitty, and being a woman does not mean that you cannot be shitty. I've met plenty of shitty women. I've also met plenty of shitty men, trust, and like people in between. But like your identity does not make you a good or bad person. Another thing I love about him is like he refuses so blatantly to fall into the toxic masculinity trope, and I love that so much. Like as a bisexual, my experiences of being bisexual is that I love people who are so like willing to break the mold and people who are unconventional. Like I love weird things. Okay, look at my cats. They're fucking weird. I love things that are odd, that like break the stereotypes, or like they break their mold. They're not what you expect. Okay, that's what I like in my people and people that I'm attracted to. And so when it comes to women, I prefer people who present more like androgynously or more masculinely, because I'm like, oh, you ate with that. Like I love how you're playing around with your gender presentation. And then in terms of like men, I prefer people who are a little bit more feminine, or people who are able to tap into like that feminine energy. He's not afraid to be feminine or to be girly. His favorite color is pink. People literally have, he keeps his hair long sometimes, like in third year his hair was pretty long. People were calling him Miss, which I think is really funny because like in my brain he's very obviously a dude. But I think some people don't understand that like men can have fun with their fashion and their appearance and not be a girl. That is another thing that I really love about him, is that he is so just like himself, and he is so confident and comfortable being himself, and he doesn't give a fuck. Like he genuinely does not care what other people are thinking about him. And I need a little bit of that in my life too, because as somebody who has a lot of shame, I need someone who is unashamed to be like, that's silly. Why are you embarrassed about that? And I'm like, that's so real. Why am I embarrassed about that? I need to be able to piss in public. That's just important to be able to do. I was so bad at pissing in public, okay, before. Now I can do it. And it doesn't even scare me a little bit. But yeah, anyways, my friends love him. And I love that my friends love him. And even my most man-hater friends, and this is something I am very proud of, they still like him. I remember, like, I have this one friend, and they are very, like, they do not like men a lot, okay? And they told one of our mutual friends, they're like, if you're seeing dudes, don't accept anybody unless they treat you the way that Nathaniel treats Sheryn. And that warmed my heart, girl. I was like, that's so nice. That's so lovely. And I'm so happy that, like, he's out here breaking those stereotypes. He is being the change you want to see in the world. Lessons. Everyone's going to be dependent. That's natural. We are social creatures. Don't act out here. Don't be acting like you can do it all by yourself, because you can't. And don't feel bad when you can't do it all by yourself. You need other people. Embrace it. Other people are awesome, okay? I love people. Our relationship is ever evolving. We aren't just loving each other as we are, but we're loving every version of each other through big life changes, which can be hard because that means you're facing new things. Our relationship was like university, post-graduation. He graduated a few years before me, so he graduated when I was in third year. And then he transitioned into working life, like full working life, while I was still in school. And then I transitioned into full working life, and then we transitioned into moving and like living together and working full time, and that's weird. And those are so many different life stages. And like I have been so many different versions of myself throughout these past 4.5 years, and so has he. He has had so many haircuts. Oh my god. I've had so many different hair colors, so many different styles. I've dropped so many friends. Like we've done, and like, you know, we're different people than we were when we were kids. And we're still kids. And like, who am I gonna be in fucking 40 years? I don't know. But I know right now that like I have loved every single version of him, and he has loved every single version of me. And I love what we're building together, and it's ever growing. And the other thing too about that is that like, even though you've been dating for a long time, that doesn't mean that you're not gonna have any problems, or that you're not going to hurt each other in some way, shape, or form. The other thing that I wrote down is that you are going to hurt each other, and you can't escape that. What you need is somebody who can hold you through that and can see you through that and help you get through it with them, and like hold your hand through it and be like, I'm so sorry that I hurt you, and I'm gonna do better, and thank you for talking to me about it, and I love you. And I will say like in our relationship, we've never really like had arguments. We have only just had difficult conversations, and it is really hard to sit there and be like, hey, that really hurt my feelings, as stupid as that sounds, or like, hey, like I'm really scared because of X, Y, and Z, or like what is it gonna look like when like this thing happens, or like I don't think our current, you know, arrangement in terms of our living situation is really working for me. Just like things like that, where you're just like, shit, because you are an ever-evolving person, there's always going to be things that are coming up, and that's okay. I think the frequency with which they come up is like a lot less than it was when we were younger and like when we first started dating, but it still happens, and that's okay. Like, you're not ever going to be perfect, and like no one's going to be able to read your mind. Like, you're not a mind reader, you know? Like, recently I was triggered by something that he said, and like it was such an old wound. I didn't even like realize that I was triggered. I just like got so upset, and I didn't even like know what to do about it, because I was just like, I don't know, I didn't know how to process it, and I didn't realize that I had been triggered, because it was literally like from when I was like 16, okay? And it was like a trigger of like how like my ex used to like say something. And I literally, like, it's like something that I, obviously, like, it's been like fucking 6 years. Get over it, girl. But I just had like this emotional reaction, and I couldn't even place where it was coming from for the longest time. And I like didn't know how to deal with that feeling because it was new for me. I was really upset. But then I talked about it with him, and then I felt so much better afterwards. And I felt so silly because I felt so like vulnerable and emotional, and like the next day I was like, are you mad at me? Like, do you hate me? Are you gonna break up with me? And he was like, no, like it's fine. And he just like reassured me and was like, girl, it's okay. And I was like, real, I'm sorry, I'm just like, I don't know why, but like that really just put me back into this space of like such insecurity and such like emotional, like I was just like volatility, and I didn't know what to do because I was like, why do I feel like I'm 16 right now. Like, it was so weird. And yeah, as I get older, like, obviously I'm gonna hopefully figure out how to deal with that better. But like, at the time, I was just like so taken aback because it hadn't happened in so long, I think, too, was another thing. And again, it's like such an old trigger where I was like, why did that even like come up? Yeah, like, you're gonna get triggered by shit that you didn't realize was still a problem, and that's okay, because things come up and then things go away, and sometimes it's a big deal and sometimes it's not. And as long as you guys can talk about it and work it out and cry together, like, that's how we solve all of our conflicts, is like, we'll just like talk about it, and it will be a hard conversation. Like, another big one was when we first moved to Vancouver. Like, that was a really stressful time for both of us. And like figuring out how to divide the house chores, because like he was doing way more of the house chores than I was. He was like, hey, like, I'm feeling really burnt out right now, like, can you help me out, you know? And I felt so bad, but it was also just like, I didn't know, like, I didn't realize that that was an issue. And so just like talking to him about it, and then literally just like crying, because like, it feels bad to hurt somebody that you love, obviously. So yeah, every hard conversation we have is just like us being like, hey, that really hurt my feelings, and then being like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I love you, I'm not gonna do that, or I'll help out, or I'll try, or like whatever. And then it'll be like, then we'll just cry together, and then we'll hug, and then it'll be okay. And you need to be able to release that energy together, even if it feels silly sometimes, because I've definitely felt really silly being like, I'm so sorry that I'm upset over this, because like, this is such a silly thing to be upset about. And it's like, that's okay. That is okay. And you're allowed to, all of your emotions are valid, you know? Not all of your actions are valid, but all of your emotions are valid, and like, they're coming up for a reason. And they were definitely coming up for a reason. But you're going to hurt each other. There is no way to avoid that. You are a person, and you take up space. In a relationship and in a partner, find somebody who you can talk to, and find someone who you can have that hard conversation with. Because if you don't talk to them about it, you're just going to grow resentment, and that's not good. Last one was, how do you make it last? We just choose each other every day, and that's just it. Like, that's just the simplest part, is that we just choose to be with each other. And if there's ever a day where we choose to not be with each other, then that'll be it. But for now, we're still choosing each other. I think it's natural to have fears and doubts, especially when you look down the line of like, shit, when I'm 80 years old, how's this going to turn out? But for me, one of the things that keeps me here is just like having that curiosity. I'm just like, I wonder how this is going to go. And I wonder like where we're going to end up. I think you have to, unfortunately, to be in a relationship and to get into a relationship and all of that shit, is like, you have to be open to being vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable to get closer with people. That places you in a place where you can be hurt and you can be rejected. Yeah, being in a relationship is also kind of committing to like, I might have my heart broken down the line, but I am just going to believe and hope that this thing that we're building is so strong and so great that we are going to be able to solve the problems that we have. The other thing was a relationship. I think the foundation is such an important part. For us, in our relationship, at the beginning, we put such a big emphasis on boundaries and communication. And I was very upfront about like, I need somebody who I can talk to, and like whatever. I remember having this conversation even before I started dating, where I was like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm not going to hurt you, because I know that I am, because I'm a person. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to do that ever, like that I'm never going to hurt you. But I can promise you that when that does happen, I am going to try my best to like help to like not do it again, essentially, to like talk to you about it and like hear you out and solve that conflict with you, because that's another part of the commitment to somebody else. Throughout this entire moving process and like settling in and like starting a new life and being an adult and working fucking full-time, which is disgusting and I hate, and doing school and like taking care of this thing that I bought. Yeah, through all of those things, like he has really been my lifeline, aside from like our romantic relationship. We have a very good friendship as well. And I just like spending time with him and like being with him and like playing video games with him and just like, you know, going to dance class together and fucking whatever, brushing our teeth. Like, it's like small things. Like, just being in his presence is nice and it's relaxing. And I hope you feel that way too about the person that you love. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this yap session. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you are feeling safe and loved, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.